So before our last panel of the day, I'd like to call on one of our sponsors, Qubic. They have a representative here, Israel. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you very much.
GM, guys. So while I wait for the media team to bring up my slide, my name is Israel, and I'm one of the few that is pushing Qubic ecosystem growth in Nigeria and Africa at large. I want to talk about Qubic, and before I start, I want to say, thank God for what blockchain is doing, making things very fast for us, transaction and stuff like that. That's what the panel speaker talk about. But the other aspect to it is the fact that AI is also coming on board, right? How many of us have interacted with AI, either open AI or stuff like that? So AI is also coming on board, and very soon it will also be like a new talk like that. So the idea behind Qubic is combining these two arms. I'm waiting for my slide. So the idea behind Qubic is combining blockchain and AI, but it's going to be an open AI, which is called an artificial general intelligence. So it started with an idea basically by someone. His name is called CFB. He's one of the first Bitcoin miners when Bitcoin first came out, and this idea has been in his mind that someday we'll be needing a decentralized AI, not this normal centralized AI that we all know today. I don't know why my slide is taking forever. So to get to the point of fulfilling this idea, right, he had to work with other projects. He was one of the people that built the first proof of stake chain, which is called NXT. For those of us that know about that in 2013. And in 2015, he also worked on IOTA, the first dark ledger. And in 2022, Qubic was launched on mainnet. So sorry about that. So Qubic was launched on mainnet, and the problem Qubic is trying to address or solve is the issue of traditional blockchain, the aspect of scalability and efficiency limits, right? And also centralization of artificial general intelligence. We know that most AI models that we interact with now, they are centralized and are not decentralized. So sometimes your data can be compromised or could be used to do other stuff, right? So that is what Qubic is trying to achieve. So Qubic is combining both blockchain, compute power, which is one of the things that you need to train AI. You need a lot of computers. Even OpenAI, for example, they have open computers, large computers that they have to store down somewhere. So Qubic is also doing that in a more unique way. It is trying to achieve AGI. Please, what's happening with my slide? So how is Qubic able to do this? I'm sorry, my slide is not up. I sent it before now. We have about 5 solutions that Qubic is bringing to blockchain. Number one is through what we call a quorum consensus mechanisms or algorithms. What that means is that Qubic uses quorums, the forms of 676 computers to run the network for safety, to ensure transactions are being goes well on the network. And Qubic uses what we call a useful proof of work model for mining. So what that means is that instead of using computational power as just a tool to solve data on the blockchain, right? How about digressing computational power to also train AI on the network? So that's the guy CFB by name. You can check him out on Twitter. So Qubic is trying to address traditional blockchain network and also the issue of centralized artificial general intelligence development. So how are we able to do this? Number one, we're using what we call a quorum consensus algorithm. That is, we use quorum as a means to secure the network and smart contract transaction. We also use what we call a useful proof of work. What that means is that instead of using the computational power as a means to just mine or the network, we also divert the energy generated and the data from it to also train AI on the network, which is called AGAT, like an AI garden, which I will talk about very soon. And Qubic is very fast with instant finality because it runs on bare metal development. We also have an economic model that I will talk about in my next slide soon, which insensitize or compensate every long-term users or holders of the coin on the network. We are also trying to achieve AGAT, artificial general intelligence, that is also decentralized, and the framework is also open source AI model, which I will talk about soon. So before I go into talking about Qubic has also been certified by CETIC as one of the fastest blockchain ever, with about 15.52 million transactions per second You can check it as well. I've had some people come and question me that that's not true, but you could check it online. So, faster than some other blockchains that you all know about, right? You can check it out. Build on Qubic. I'm going to talk about this very quickly. Qubic is open for developers that want to jump on the network. We know that there are a few languages that you can also use to write on Qubic, the likes of Go, TypeScript, C++, JavaScript, Shell. And our repository is open. If you want to check it out, it's github.com/Qubic. So the repository is there. And there's an amazing thing about Qubic is the fact that we have an incubation program for developers that are interested in building on the network, right? What over about $500K for those that are interested in jumping on development on Qubic. I've had a few persons ask me this question: why is Qubic built using C++? And one of the major reasons I will just talk about among many is the fact that Qubic is trying to integrate both CPU miners and GPU miners. So the miners on the network are not just GPU alone. We also have CPU miners, and the core language that was used is C++. To also allow for performance and speed. Some of these traditional language that you all know about, they have this strength for performance and speed, and it even have more security compared to some of the language that we kind of know, right? So Qubic is a growing ecosystem. Like I mentioned, it started 2012, but it has been growing so far. We have a lot of amazing projects coming up on the network. The likes of QCAP is like an investment. Like I talk about, Qubic has an economic model that incentivizes that gives you return on every of your involvement on the smart contract that is being deployed on the network. It's like you are buying stock. You know how stock works, whereby you get dividends for every of the earnings. So it also happens on Qubic. Every of the smart contracts that is being launched on Qubic go through what we call an IPO, which is called Initial Public Opening. We have one running recently. Now, if you're an investor, that means we have a bridge coming up. It's called Votum. That's bridging to Ethereum and Arbitrum on the network. The smart contract is already being built, but before it goes live on the network, it always goes through what we call IPO. That gives you an asset as an investor to earn from the revenue that those bridge generate on the network. So you could also be part of it. We have other projects. We have a gaming also coming on the network. It's called My Last Match. We have meme coins and all that. Many people have asked me today, or like from yesterday, that are we on chain? We are not testnet. We're actually mainnet. We've been live since 2012, and you could also check it out. So it's open for builders. If you're a builder, a developer, you want to partner, you want to be a miner, there's an incubation program for everyone on the network as well. So that being said, I talk about Qubic being a useful proof of work. This is one interesting aspect about Qubic that you should just take time to hear. The fact that our computational power is not just for mining alone, but could also be used as a means for one, economic and AI tax. And I'm going to talk about this very quickly. Number one, 50% of the mining rate on Qubic is used to train the AI model that is called AGAT, like a model that is going to be deploying AI smart contracts on the network. However, during the idling mode, instead of wasting power, wasting your CPU power, right, or GPU power, Qubic is able to mine other network through the pool on Qubic. I don't know how many of you have saw, or if you have come across the news, or you saw the news that happened within some months ago. Some people were saying Monero was hacked, stuff like that. Now we did here. But actually, I'm going to talk about that very soon. So Qubic was able to mine about 58% of Monero hash rate. You can still check it now. And we're coming for Dogecoin. Dogecoin lovers, we're coming for you very soon. However, and it has been proven Qubic is one of the most profitable mining so far on CPU. However, we are not actually attacking network. What we are trying to do is to generate computational power enough that could train AI. So we're trying to attract more miners to see how profitable it could be to mine on Qubic. We're also trying to attract more developers to see how profitable it is to build on Qubic. So the idea is to achieve to generate native compute instead of trying to gather CPUs or monitors or stuff like that in a building and centralize. It's all about having miners, decentralized miners, train AGAT. And that's what we're trying to achieve in 2027 that's going to be coming up. However, before then, the AI itself is an open source, like I mentioned. The repository is also on GitHub. If you go to github.com/AGAT, AIGARTH, the repository is open. You can use AGAT to deploy smart contracts that are on blockchain to solve like any solution you want to use AI to do. You could also check it out. It's open. Then, if you are interested in joining the revolution that Qubic is making, you are welcome on board. So We have an academy. You could learn more about Qubic in the academy and what Qubic is building that makes it different. I find a lot of developers that came back to say, oh, more, this is amazing. And I've had a lot of questions from people, right? So if you're a developer or you are just new to Web3 or you are a content person or Web3, Qubic is open to you. We're also on some exchanges, the likes of Mexi, BitGet, Gate, STM, and two tier 1 exchanges going to be coming up very soon by next month on for Qubic. So this is also for Nigerians and Africans at large. We're having a workshop that's coming up soon for developers that want to jump on Qubic. So you can jump on it, and there's a hackathon coming up by November for developers as well that are interested in coming on board. Like this is a place to be basically, because aside from the fact that you are just doing blockchain stuff, right, you can also learn how to adopt AI in your building process, right? So that being said, our program is also open, ambassadors program, for those that are content creator or you are a chiller, you know how to chill projects. So it's currently open. You can check it out on Twitter. Just search _Qubic splash, right? You just see Qubic on Twitter. You sign up for the ambassadors program, and thank you so much.